Hello everyone! Welcome to Identity 101.
Today I'm Nalta.
And I'm Zenia. And this is Where's Devi?
And I am Devi. Welcome to Identity 101. Our topics are
accomplishments, inspiration, and experiences.
Today we're going to be talking about personal identity.
To us, personal identity means expressing yourself in any way and feeling unique.
Today, right now, we're going to share your values with you.
I believe that my values are being kind, hardworking, and reflective. Kind because I help people in need. And hardworking because without it, I would not be where I am. And also reflective because I reflect on my mistakes and try to make them better next time.
So, I think that the values that make me feel unique and define my identity are kind, hardworking, and respectful. Kind because I help the people in need, which is really important. And then hardworking because, for example, I failed a test. And I would just start studying and never forgive myself for that. And then respectful because I respect everyone which needs to be heard with their voices. And finally, I'll be sharing mine, which are kind, honest, and responsible. Kind because I feed the homeless. Responsible because I take care of my siblings and I'm an organized boy. And honest because I do not lie. So now we're going to be sharing our relationships.
For example, my relationships are friends, family. For example, Anna, she is my best friend and we hang out almost every single day. That means I have a really good relationship with her.
Another example is, for example, living in the other side of the world. Like me and Emma. Emma right now is in Jakarta and I'm in Tirana. We still manage a way to find communication with each other. For example, on our messages, we chat with each other. Even though Emma has a time zone of 8 hours, she texts me at 1 a.m. I will get the reply tomorrow morning and we can talk together. And finally, I will be sharing what I think about relationships. That when you talk with family and friends, you become more interactive and you become less shy. Oh, so another thing is that if you don't have any relationships, that's just really weird. And it's honestly really impossible. Because we don't live in caves, we interact with people like friends, family, and other things like that.
Also, without relationships, everybody would be alone. They would not have any friends or any family members that would take care of them.
And also, you would be very sad and you would not be that happy like everybody else.
What do you think is more important? Relationships or values?
And we have a special guest, Elisa Spirpali.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you. Hi Zenia, hi Devi, hi Nalta.
Hi. Hi. So now we'll start with our first question. Here goes.
Can experiences change the whole new identity in you or your lifestyle?
Well, I think identity is a combination of what you're born with and what you gain during your life journey. So, in that sense, yes, it can change. New experiences, make you understand more, feel more, know more, complete your identity, give you different nuances to your identity. So it's a process, the forming of your identity.
But
it's not set once and for all.
But do you have an example for us?
An example? You mean in my own life?
Yes.
Or in the life of people? Yeah, I think I'm not the same person I was when I was 16. I left Tirana, I left Albania when I was 16, still at a young age, to go and study abroad. And I went to a school that was very international. So there were 200 kids, students from 85 countries. So, I was living with people from different backgrounds, from different experiences, and until that age, I didn't know what the world was about. I had never met anybody outside of Albania. So that gave me a sense of the world. It changed the way I saw other people, other backgrounds, other races, other cultures, and then I studied at university also abroad in the United States, so that gave me a different perspective on the world. And everything people do in their life and every single experience does change them. And it's better to keep an open mind. It's better to be open to new experiences, to be understanding of other people, than try to shape your identity in the best way possible. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yes, you did.
What was your best achievement in life?
The best achievements. I mean, people tend to talk about, what they do, their studies, their careers, everything in their life. But I think to be happy with what you do, to wake up wanting to do more, to do your job or your studies or your work in the best way possible, to give everything you can to people around you. Family, for example. I'm so happy to have Nalta and Kren, that are my kids, and I consider that to be an accomplishment, and I'm proud of them, and I want them, to get experience. I'm sure your parents, Zenia and Devi, have the same thing. They consider you part of their pride and part of their accomplishment, and everything we need to do in life has to have a balance. You have to be happy in your family, you have to be happy in the job you're doing, and you have to try your best. That's the same for studies, sometimes you don't get the grades you want, but it's trying, it's working together with people, is working with your friends, trying to get the best presentation possible like you're doing now. That gives you the feeling of accomplishment.
Thank you. What inspiration do you have to the world that's related to being unique?
I think everybody in the world is unique. People just have to tap into that uniqueness. They have to know, what do they believe in? Who are they? What do they want to accomplish? How do they want to accomplish it? And work very hard for it. And you experience that uniqueness and you bring out that uniqueness by doing all these things. It's not always easy. It's not always easy to have a balance in your career, in the work you're doing, what you do for the people and what you do for your family. But everything that you do has to have a purpose. And the more you understand who you are and what you want from life and what is your talent and what you want to dedicate your life to, the more unique you feel.
But mommy, experiences, what country except Canada has had an impact to who you are?
I studied in Canada and the United States. I lived in Massachusetts for 4 years and then in New York for a year. So I studied there. So the friendships I created there and the studies, I studied politics and economics. So that gave me a chance to go into the career that I am now in politics.
One more question. So what year did you go to New York or the Massachusetts?
I came back to Albania in 2006. So I left in 1999.
Okay.
Lived for 2 years in Canada. Then I lived until 2006. For 5 years I lived in the United States.
Okay. So my question is, who inspired you and why did they inspire you, basically?
I always read a lot of books about politics or people in politics that inspire change in the world. So for example, when I lived in the States, I read a lot of Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement and people that were trying to break through some racial stereotypes or identity or socioeconomic conditions, people that fought for their rights, people that organized to get better rights, the fight of the women to get more rights in the States or elsewhere in the world, activists, politicians that work together. All of these people, I think, have inspired me to get into politics.
Thank you, but now we're at the last question, which Zenia is going to
The
say.
last question. Which has the experience that affected you the most? So, in simpler words, what experience has affected you most out of all of the experience?
I think more than the accomplishments or successes, the ones that define you really are the hardships or the challenges, or sometimes failing, as you said in your presentations, because then you understand that it's not important how many times you fall. The important thing is how many times you get up and continue to do things and continue to improve and continue to be kind to people and be open to everyone and create a circle of people that are similar to you, but at the same time that understand the experiences of other people. Just do your best. Be prepared that you're not always going to win. There are some times when you lose, but it's important to get up again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was very inspiring to be here with you, Zenia, Devi, and Nalta. I enjoyed really so much, and this podcast was really good. So I hope you continue with interviews
Thank
with
you
other
so
people.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, audience.
Now we'll be talking about episode number 3, the conclusion.
So, personal identity can change in many ways, and it plays a really important part in our lives. For example, it also influences our actions and interactions with human beings and people. Also, it can change over time. For example, it may not become how you thought it would become when you were 6 years old. It might change. It might change over time, and you won't even understand that it changes. It will just change naturally.
So what I think personal identity means is basically an achievement that you accomplish by feeling special or unique. For example, relationships, accomplishments, inspiration, experiences, and yeah. Also, the reason why I think personal identity is important, it's because that if you didn't have a personal identity, you'd basically live in a cave or a black hole. Personal identity keeps you away from getting mixed with other people, and it's made from relationship, values, experiences, and many more. Identity grows older. It starts from childhood and grows more. For example, when you grow, for example, 32 years old, it's at the middle. It's starting to go at the middle, and then the more you grow, the more it grows too.
The more it changes.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Bye. I don't know like that. It's not my fault.